Hi, this is Elizabeth from the Toy Hoarder. I am back with another toy mod for you guys. So this one is for Angel Kitty from Toy Story That Time Forgot. And this is one of the short films that was released on ABC. It is a Christmas special. They also released a Halloween special called Toy Story of Terror, which is not really part of this video, but just noting it in case you guys wanted to check those out. Okay, I started out for this mod with a plush of a character called Angel Cat Sugar. Angel Cat Sugar is a fictional character created by Yuko Shimizu, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that appropriately, but that was created in 2002. There are several books based on this character, as well as a DS game and a PC game. Now, I had not heard of this when I was initially looking for a plush cat to use. Now, the cat usually does have a crown and the wings, so this was a good start to use as Angel Kitty. Also, she is a white cat, which is absolutely perfect for what I needed. Unfortunately, the initial Angel Cat Sugar plush that I received was not quite in the appropriate positions or with the appropriate accessories that I needed for Angel Kitty. So mine came with antlers as well as her crown, and of course she had her wings, but she also had a big plush candy cane in the middle of her. So I had to do some seam ripping here. Now, I had to seam rip the crown and antlers out of her head, which involved actually taking open a piece of the sides of the ear and the top of the head, and then I seam ripped the candy cane out of her arms and legs. Unfortunately, this was a used plush that I bought, and after a while, apparently this dye does kind of fade into the toy, so there were a few pink spots on her arms and legs, but it wasn't a big deal because I knew I was going to cover it with a dress. The next problem I had to tackle was her eyes. I was able to get something called animal eyes. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby, but you can probably buy them at any craft store. These are little safety eyes that have a back and a front piece. I poked a hole in the front center of the eyes, and then since I already had a hole in the top of the head from seam ripping out the crown and antlers, I was able to just slip my finger in there as well as the backing and plug in both initial pieces. Then I was able to paint her nose the more appropriately darker pink color. I did attempt to seam rip her whiskers and eyebrows off since she's not supposed to have that in the actual Angel Kitty version, but unfortunately that didn't go well, so you can see that they are still there in the final version. Angel Sugar Cat's wings are blue, which was just not going to work out for me. I tried painting the wings gold, however the gold paint that I had was very thin, so I ended up having to paint the wings yellow and then paint them gold several more times after that in order for them to turn out gold. So that was a little bit extensive, and you can see I missed in a couple places, but again, it was going to be covered by a dress, so I was not too worried about it. Now, they aren't exactly the right way that I want the wings to be. I might at some point later actually make upward wings with this, but for now, it was close enough to what I needed. Her arms and legs are sticking straight forwards, which I needed her arms to stick out to her sides, and I needed her legs to stick down and sort of dangle so that she was able to dangle or walk however I needed her to work out for a more film-accurate version. So this involved some more stitching. I didn't want to do any seam ripping on this, so I simply turned it around and did some stitching. I will show you spinning it around so you can see some of the stitching that I did. I just kind of pushed it into place and then sewed wherever I could to get it to stay how I wanted it to stay. This is not a professionally done thing. This is one of my toy mods, you guys, so it's a fake it till you make it, and I still like how it turned out. I also needed each of her hands or paws to have the 3 toes and fingers, so I did add some extra stitching so you can see 3 fingers in each of her arms and then 3 toes on each of her legs. For the dress, I had a small dress that came from a troll doll that I have, and I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I actually collect troll dolls. I know, shocking, another toy that I collect, but this was something that I had been collecting since, I don't know, maybe the 2nd or 3rd grade. Unfortunately, it's not a very big collection anymore because it's so hard to purchase anywhere, so I really kind of died off on the collecting, but I used to collect them and I still have the collection that I had when I started collecting way back when. Anyway, I took this doll's dress off. It was a white dress and it had a little bit of gold trim around the middle of the waist and around the sleeves. So I seam ripped out the middle waistband and then I cut off the sleeves because this one was supposed to be a sleeveless dress. I had a scrap of some gold wavy ribbon which I hot glued on, and then I had some other ribbon. This actually came off of a box of Christmas cookies, so I cut the ribbon down to size because it was a little bit too thick for what I needed, and then shaped it into a bow and hot glued that onto the dress as well. On the back of the dress I did cut 2 slits so that the wings would fall through at the appropriate places. I did mark it with pen first before I cut the slits, and then I just kind of poked them underneath so you can't see the pen lines anymore once I put the wings through the dress. But the dress fit perfectly, which was excellent for what I needed. I could have just made a very simple little dress and added Velcro, but this was easier to do, so that worked out fantastic. Oh, I also stitched in the inner triangles of her ears. Now, in the film, her ears are actually kind of fully indented, and I did want to use some material for the inner ears, but I couldn't find any light pink scraps at the time, and was really running low on time, so I decided to instead stitch out those triangles so you can still see sort of the edges of the ears, and then I painted light pink inside the ears so that it was the closer to the right color for the film. She is supposed to have a little bit of lace at the bottom. So you see I have this kind of folded over so you can see this piece that almost looks lace-like. I unfortunately did not have a scrap of lace at the time to sew into it, but I think it's still fairly movie accurate, and you definitely get the idea that it is Angel Kitty, and it's very much closer than the original that I had. Beyond that, I had to add her halo, and I really wanted to do the halo last because I didn't want to accidentally crush it while working on another piece of the toy. So Dustin made me this cute little halo, which the halo should be probably about the width of one of the ears, which looks like this is pretty accurate, so very excited about that. And I used a little floral foam block, and you can get these at the bottom of fake flowers, and you use them to stab the flowers in and get them to stay in their little arrangement. I took a little cube out of a fake flower plant that we had and stabbed in the end of the halo. Then I took that little cube and pushed it into the top of her head. I had to take out a little bit of stuffing, kind of move the stuffing around so that it fit appropriately, but it was a nice small cube, so it fit fairly well. And then I simply stitched up the sides of the ears and the head so that the halo would stick out appropriately, and hopefully it will not fall down into the head or fall forward or backwards. So super excited about how that turned out. This is actually a clay piece right here that I made the French horn out of. Unfortunately, I could not find a French horn of any sort, and I'm disappointed a little bit with the size. I think it's too big and too bulky and heavy, and I'm just not happy with how it came out, but it needed to work for the time being because we were getting a little time crunched, and this is of course just stitched in with one stitch, just the way it is in the movie. I did break it here and have to glue it back on. It's painted gold and a little bit of brown to get some of the shading and things inside of here. I also don't know if she is supposed to have a tail. I don't think we saw one in the film, but I did like it still having a tail because it is still a cat and I think it should have a tail. So I did leave her tail on it. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's everything that's in this mod. I'll do another spin around for you guys so you can see her. Let me know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. If you like what you saw today, please hit that subscribe button down below as well, and go check out our channel for more toy reviews and other fun videos. Until next time, have a great time playing. Bye.